my audience. How many of you have attended a wedding in the last year?
Me.
According to Statista, there are an average of 2.4 million weddings in the United States every year. My own wedding took place in 2009. We got married at a beautiful ceremony in Estes Park. I wore a white dress, I had on a veil, we had a flower toss, and a money dance. We did these things not because we understood the history and the meaning behind them, but because it's what we had seen done at every wedding we'd ever attended. So today I would like to share with you the meaning and history behind wedding rituals. We're going to talk about the white wedding dress, the history behind the wedding veil, the bridal party, and we're also going to touch on rituals around the world in other cultures. We're going to start by talking about my very favorite part of a wedding, the wedding dress. The wedding dress hasn't always been white. In the Victorian era, around 1840, the wedding dress was mostly red. Brides wore bold colors. They wore capes with fur and silk. They wore big, extravagant crowns. It was all about wealth and showing their place in the world. It wasn't until Queen Victoria got married to Prince Albert in 1840 that all of that changed. Queen Victoria surprised everybody by showing up at her wedding in a simple white dress. The dress was made of silk and lace. Instead of a crown, Queen Victoria wore an orange blossom wreath. According to Time magazine, Queen Victoria did this to show her people that she would run the country in an economically responsible way. Time magazine also reported that it was 5 years later that a woman's publication released an article stating that Victoria's choice of a white dress was one of an emblem of purity. The color white, they said, was pure. They also said that the color white was the most fitting color for brides. That is why today we typically see white wedding dresses. In fact, in 2014, it was reported that only 4 to 5% of women wore dresses that weren't white. Next, we're going to talk about the history of the bridal veil, also known as the Virgin Curtain. According to Bride magazine, the bridal veil is the oldest bridal ensemble in history. It dates back to ancient times when women would wrap themselves in a veil as if to appear untouched or pure. They also wore veils in the time of arranged marriages to cover their face so as not to scare away the groom. Queen Victoria was actually the first modern monarch to wear a veil to her wedding. Today, veils are worn in most traditional American weddings, and they are worn for style and dramatic effect. Next, we're going to talk about the bridal party. History of bridesmaids goes back before ancient times. There's a story in the Bible about Jacob and his brides, Rachel and Leah. Rachel and Leah both had maids, and these maids, the purpose was to help Rachel and Leah prepare for the wedding, and they were literally called bridesmaids. Groomsmen, or best men, their history is a little darker. In the time of Capture the Bride, the groom would choose the best swordsman or the best archery to go out and capture them a bride. The best men were also tasked with protecting the bride at the ceremony to make sure that they didn't run away. Today, the primary purpose of the bridal party is to lessen the responsibility of the bride and groom and to plan parties such as the bachelor and bachelorette party. Next, we're going to talk about wedding rituals around the world. We're going to start with a small community in Malaysia called Tidong. The Tidongs have an unusual ritual where they don't allow their bride and groom to use the bathroom for 3 days. They believe it's bad luck. So their friends and family will watch them and make sure that they don't go to the bathroom, and they will provide them with little food and drink during 3 days. In Scotland, they celebrate a ritual called blackening. And what that is the friends and family of the bride and groom will cover them in filth. Everything that you can think of that's gross and disgusting. Eggs, rotten milk, meat, mud. They put it all over the bride and groom, and then they parade them around town, and the community will give them well wishes for their upcoming nuptials. So what we've talked about today is the history of the white wedding dress. It started out as a symbol of purity. Today it's mostly seen to be worn by brides. The bridal veil is used to show the bride as being pure or untouched. And today it's mainly worn for style and effect. Bridal parties date back before ancient Rome, and rituals in other parts of the world vary greatly. In conclusion, America really is the best place to get married. So, when you attend your next wedding, you will understand the history of wedding rituals. Thank you.